Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into a huge new alliance in the AI world, one that's trying to solve what is maybe the single biggest roadblock to building a true superintelligence. And it all comes down to a problem of pure, raw power.
So let me just start with a big question for you. When you think about creating something as mind-bendingly powerful as artificial superintelligence, or ASI, what do you think is the #1 thing holding us back? Is it better algorithms? More data? The ethics of it all? Well, the real answer is actually a lot more fundamental. It all boils down to a crisis in computational power. I mean, the sheer amount of digital horsepower you need to train and run these unbelievably complex AI models is just astronomical. And frankly, we are hitting a massive bottleneck.
All right, so first up, let's really dig into this idea of the AI compute bottleneck. What is it exactly, and why is it such a critical problem that we have to solve right now?
Just think about it for a second. Every single leap forward we see in AI, whether it's those large language models or AIs that solve complex problems, it demands exponentially more processing power. The demand is just exploding so fast that the traditional centralized infrastructure, it's really starting to buckle under the pressure. It's creating this serious choke point for the entire industry.
And this slide just lays out the core dilemma perfectly. On the one hand, you've got the old way, the centralized cloud, run by a few tech giants. Yeah, it's incredibly expensive. It creates these single points of failure where if one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. And there's always the risk of censorship or just getting locked into one company's ecosystem. But on the other side, you have this new idea of a decentralized cloud. It promises to be way more cost-efficient, much more resilient, and this is key, it gives users sovereign control, which is the secret sauce for real open innovation. So, that's the problem. And it's exactly this dilemma that led a few pioneers in the space to join forces and create something totally new, a decentralized AI alliance.
And that brings us to the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, or the ASI Alliance. This is a massive merger of three of the biggest names in decentralized AI: SingularityNET, Fetch.ai, and Ocean Protocol. Their goal is, well, it's incredibly ambitious. They want to build artificial general intelligence, or AGI, but do it out in the open, not locked away in some corporate lab. But right away, they slammed into that huge problem we just talked about. Where on earth were they going to find enough scalable computing power to fuel that mission?
And that question, that leads us to the missing piece of the whole puzzle, the one key that could unlock the Alliance's full potential and provide the fuel for their incredible journey. And that key? So what exactly is CUDOS? Well, to put it simply, it's a global, decentralized network that's built from the ground up to provide high-performance computing whenever you need it. A good way to think of it is like the power grid for this whole decentralized AI revolution, a way for anybody, anywhere, to plug into the insane amount of computational resources needed to build the future.
And get this, the savings here are kind of mind-blowing. We are not talking about a few percentage points. Accessing premium AI hardware through CUDOS can be around 50% cheaper than using one of the big cloud providers. That is an absolute game changer. It opens the door for startups, researchers, and even individuals to get into high-end AI development when they were completely priced out before.
And it's not just about the cost, it's about the sheer firepower you get access to. Through CUDOS, the Alliance can tap into a global network with thousands of the latest and greatest AI chips from both NVIDIA and AMD. And because all these resources are spread out across tons of independent suppliers, it creates this incredibly resilient network that isn't dependent on any one single company.
And all of this leads to this really powerful idea they call sovereign compute. Basically, it just means the infrastructure is owned and controlled by the people who use it and supply it, not some third-party gatekeeper. This gives the Alliance total autonomy. It protects them from censorship, from outside control, and from all those supply chain headaches you see with the big centralized providers. Okay, so we've got the vision, we've got the hardware, but a sovereign network like this, it needs a sovereign economy to power it. And that brings us to the engine of this entire ecosystem, the unified ASI token.
So the ASI token, it has a few really important jobs. First up is governance and security. If you hold the token, you get to vote on proposals, which gives you a direct say in where the Alliance is headed. You can also stake your tokens. You can think of it like putting up a security deposit to help keep the network secure, and you earn rewards for doing it. It's what keeps the whole thing honest and truly community-driven. Now, what's really cool is that the ASI token isn't starting from zero. It actually inherits all these proven functions from its founding partners. So right out of the gate, it includes things like Ocean Protocol system for letting people earn rewards from their data, and it's also the key that unlocks SingularityNET's marketplace of AI services. But this is the brand new, totally transformative piece that CUDOS brings to the table. The ASI token becomes the actual currency for compute power. Developers use it to pay for access to that global GPU network we just talked about. And what's more, they can even stake their ASI tokens to get those compute costs even lower. So it directly connects the token's value to solving that core bottleneck problem. It's brilliant.
Now, for anyone wondering how this merger actually works, here are the nuts and bolts. The old CUDOS token will convert to the new ASI token at a ratio of about 1:18:1. There's a small 5% fee that gets plowed right back into the alliance for things like R&D, and there are some vesting periods in place just to ensure long-term stability for the project.
All right, let's zoom out for a second. We've talked about the problem, the players, the amazing solution, and the economic engine behind it all. So, what does this all really mean for the future of AI?
Well, what this merger enables is some truly incredible stuff. First, it democratizes AI development. It makes these high-powered tools accessible to everybody, not just a handful of tech giants. It creates this living, breathing, open marketplace for compute power. And most importantly, it provides the raw infrastructure that we desperately need to genuinely speed up the search for artificial general intelligence. And on top of all that, by integrating with other projects and bringing in top-tier advisors from places like AMD and PlayStation, they're building an absolute powerhouse of talent and tech.
You know, this quote from the Alliance's own vision paper just hits the nail on the head. They say, "Together, we are laying the foundation for a future where the transformative potential of AI is accessible to all." And that's really it. This is all about building an open, an inclusive, and an incredibly powerful AI ecosystem that benefits everyone.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. As we're standing right on the edge of creating machines that could actually surpass human intelligence, could this decentralized, community-first approach be the actual key to making sure that future benefits all of humanity and not just a select few?